In the UK, there's a little green man that tells you whether or not it's safe to cross the road. Well, apparently that green man is going away. We got an interesting video here today. It's called Why Doesn't the Green Man Flash Anymore? And this is by Chris Spargo. Link will be down below so you can go and support his channel. I just was searching and found this to be a pretty interesting video. And that's what we try and do on this channel, is to watch things that are different and unique. So let's see what this is all about. Before we get going here, go ahead and like the video. Let's see what we can see.
The green man no longer flashes because we have a better way of doing it. But let's go back a bit. When you cross the road in Britain, you'll often be led by the little green man who tells you that it's safe to cross because traffic has been stopped. And as you continue crossing, the green man traditionally will start to flash. And that's to tell you that the traffic light is now flashing amber, meaning that traffic can proceed as soon as you're done crossing. But on these newer crossings, the green man doesn't flash anymore. In fact, you can't even see the green man once you start crossing because he's on the near side of the road rather than the far side. To understand why this change was made, you have to understand why we ended up with a flashing green man in the first place. Because this design wasn't chosen by accident. This was the result of decades of experimentation and research. And if that had gone just a little bit differently, our pedestrian crossings could have looked completely different.
Oh, wow.
Back in the 1950s, all we had was your basic zebra crossing. Now, I've already done a video about those. You just stand by the side of the road and cars are supposed to see you and stop to let you cross. Those worked great in the 1950s, but as cars started getting faster, more traffic took to the roads, road traffic deaths started going up.
That's interesting. I mean, that's, well, on the busier roads, I guess there's a light here, like a pedestrian crossing light. But most roads here in Spain, you just do what he said. Get to the side of the road, they see you, and you have the right of way. In the US, good luck crossing the street. Because, I mean, you don't necessarily have the right of way. At least it doesn't feel like it. And even if you're at where there is like a major intersection or something like that, you know, here in Spain, the light will turn red for the traffic that's crossing in front of you if you're a pedestrian. And then you got a few seconds before yours turns green, which makes sense in case anybody's trying to run a red light or something, which we don't see tons of that here in Spain. But in the US, it's like it happens simultaneously, which doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. But anyway.
So in the 1960s, we needed something a little bit more advanced. We needed something where you could push a button and actively stop the traffic. So in 1962, the government came out with a standardized design for just that. And they named it after an animal.
Oh.
It starts with a P. That's right.
Possum.
It's time for the
Oh.
That's not the animal I meant.
Oh, and I said possum. Possum, but I know it's opossum. All right? Because I know somebody's going to tell me I was wrong. And I could be wrong about that, but a possum. Anyway, panda crossing. Okay.
Now you have to understand where they were coming from with this. The zebra crossing was a big success, but it wasn't really fit for purpose on these bigger, busier roads. Cars were going so fast, they wouldn't see you standing by the side of the road, so they wouldn't stop. And as a result, a lot of people were starting to cross wherever they felt like it, and that was getting people killed. So the thinking was, well, the zebra crossing is so well known, it's been so successful, why don't we just build on that? So they took the stripy lines of a zebra crossing and made them pointy. And they took the yellow globes from a zebra crossing and added black stripes to them. So this is a standard modern pedestrian crossing. How would it be different if it was a 1960s panda crossing? Well, for a start, there wouldn't be a red man. Instead, there'd just be nothing. Because if you think about it, there's nothing really to say when the crossing's not in use. Does the red man mean you can't cross the road? No, it doesn't.
Right.
We don't have jaywalking laws in this country, so you can cross on a red man just fine. Before they came up with the red man, they couldn't really put don't cross or don't walk or anything like that up there, because you can cross and you can walk. So
that's good to know there's no jaywalking laws there. I mean, there's some in the US. Spain, I don't know. Well, in Spain, I'd be scared to jaywalk because you have to, I mean, I do it, but like if you're not in a crosswalk, they seriously, it looks like they will not stop. Like, but you're in a crosswalk them and they're like, go right ahead. Doesn't matter where it is. If you're at a crosswalk, they let you cross. But if you're not, good luck with that. So, but okay, let's see.
So by default, the pedestrian signal was just blacked out. And on the driver's side, there'd be no green light either. Because these crossings were going to operate differently from a regular traffic light, it was felt that drivers should be able to tell them apart. So you walk up to the crossing and you push the button. The traffic light starts pulsating amber, which means drivers must stop unless it's unsafe to do so. And then it starts pulsating red. That means stop. The red light never goes solid. It only ever pulsates. For the pedestrians, a cross signal appears. And now you can cross the road. 8 seconds later, the cross signal starts to flash, and the signal for drivers starts flashing amber. This means they can start driving again if the crossing's clear.
Okay.
As time runs out, the signal flashes faster and faster until it finally goes dark.
Oh.
And now traffic can continue. Now you might not have followed all of that. You might have found it a bit confusing and a bit overwhelming. And if so, you have discovered one of the problems with the Panda crossing. On the other hand, if you did follow that, did you spot any other problems with it? First of all,
no. Okay, this is good.
on the other hand, if you did follow that, did you spot any other problems with it? First of all, pedestrians didn't like the use of all these pulsating, flashing lights and the fact that it got faster and faster as you run out of time. That was just stressful. And for people who are trying this out for the first time, it was a bit much. And on the driver's side, what does the pulsating red light actually mean? Like, does that mean stop?
Yeah.
Why is it different from a regular traffic light? But both of those you could probably get used to. There was another problem that made this crossing actively dangerous. See, when someone's about to cross the road, the traffic light would pulsate amber, and then it would pulsate red as they started crossing.
Right.
And then it would flash amber to mean if the crossing's clear, it's safe to keep driving. So imagine you're driving down the road and you see this. Does that mean you need to stop because someone's about to step out into the road? Or does it mean someone's finished crossing and you can keep on driving? To be clear, the two signals are different. The government said that a pulsating light varies in intensity, while a flashing light goes off and on. But even if every driver...
I mean, I suppose, but that seems like it would be harder to distinguish between which is which. I would just see it as it's yellow. So that's a good point.
Driver is paying full attention 100% of the time. If they mix this up even once, it might be too late. By the time they see that the light is actually turned red, they might not have time to brake. This reportedly played a role in the death of an 11-year-old boy in Kent. So the Panda crossings were confusing, they were stressful, and they were actively dangerous. So a lot of people just didn't use them. But if the government couldn't persuade people to use these crossings, they did have...
Okay, so this was in 1962. Wednesday, the 28th of November, 1962. Oh, man. That's sad.
dangerous.
I remember one time I was walking home from school in LA, Los Angeles, and I saw a girl get hit. And I mean, I was, oh my God, I don't know. I was probably 8 or something. But actually, I might have been younger than that. We used to walk home by ourselves back then. There's no way they would let that happen now. But anyway, I saw a girl get hit. It was like the most traumatizing thing that I can even remember. So I feel bad for this little kid.
So the Panda crossings were confusing, they were stressful, and they were actively dangerous. So a lot of people just didn't use them. But if the government couldn't persuade people to use these crossings, they did have another option. They could make them. This is Uxbridge Road. It's a major road in West London. As it stands today, I can cross this road anywhere I like. If I see a gap in the traffic, I can just go for it. In many countries, you could get fined for doing that. And in the 1960s, Britain considered joining that club. This stretch of road was chosen for a trial of what was called a controlled traffic area. The idea was simple. If you crossed the road outside of a marked crossing, you could be fined the equivalent in today's money of £350.
Oh, wow.
So now, instead of leaving the pedestrian signals blank when not in use, the government could actually put the words "don't cross" on there because you actually couldn't cross. The trial didn't work though. The only way to make people take it seriously would be to deploy police officers all along the route ready to hand out fines. Maybe you could do that for a trial, but there were never going to be the resources to roll it out more widely. One part of the trial did survive though. The mascot, known as the Pin Man, he appeared on signs telling you that you were entering a controlled traffic area. And he was also used on the pedestrian signals. It wasn't green or red yet, but when it wasn't
Oh, cool. So that's where the green stick or the stick man came from. It was back then during this trial.
The Pin Man, more widely. One part of the trial did survive, though. The mascot, known as
In London on September 30th, Pin Man compulsory crossing plan for pedestrians starts in London on September 30th. Okay.
the Pin Man. He appeared on signs telling you that you were entering a controlled traffic area, and he was also used on the pedestrian signals. It wasn't green or red yet, but when it wasn't safe to cross, he would appear to stand, and when it was safe to cross, he would appear to walk. Ironically, by making it illegal to cross the road, the government had discovered a way to sort of imply that maybe you shouldn't without actually saying it. Now, to be fair, East Germany had been using their famous Ampelmännchen red and green men for a couple of years at least by this point.
That's cool. That's a different looking green man. Is that how they look in Germany now? We'll probably be going to Germany pretty soon here if we end up moving to the Netherlands, because if we move south in southern Netherlands, the south of Netherlands, I don't know how you say that, then we'd only be like 20, 30 minutes away from Germany. So, but yeah, but that's a cool looking dude, got a hat and everything.
So I don't know how original the Pin Man was really, but the idea made it into the next iteration of the pedestrian crossing. Now we've had the zebra, we've had the panda, so surely that's got to mean there's only one animal left.
Uh-oh.
Right? When you're replacing the panda crossing, there's only one thing you can call it.
Oh, God.
It's got to be the big one. It's got to be the famous one that everyone's heard of.
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even know why I try and guess on this channel. The bear, the polar bear, the tiger. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the panda crossings was such a disaster that the government said no more animal names.
Oh, boo.
So the next effort was called this.
Crossways?
And if you read that as X-way, you're wrong, according to the government of the day, because they wanted people to pronounce it crossway.
Crossway.
It's a bit like the PlayStation controller. Do you know how the X button is actually called the cross button? But no one actually says that unless you're a tutorial NPC.
I didn't know that. I'm not a big gamer, but it makes sense.
X-Way's improved on panda crossings in a few ways. First of all, it was the debut of the little green man and the little red man.
Oh, cool.
Green man means cross, red man means don't cross. The green man works pretty much the same as the cross signal on the panda crossing. It appears solidly on for a few seconds to tell you that it's safe to cross, and then it starts flashing to tell you that drivers can now proceed as soon as you're finished crossing.
Okay.
They ditched the idea of having it flash fast.
Oh. Okay. So same thing. I wonder if that's how it is out here. I never even paid attention to that. I just always thought that it just meant when it starts to speed up. No, it out here it does mean when it starts out here in Spain, when it starts to speed up, that means you only got like, well, in Granada you literally have like maybe 2 seconds before it's going to be solid, and then the cross traffic, their light's going to turn green. In Malaga, it started flashing. You had maybe 4, 5, 6 seconds. You had a lot longer of it flashing, so they gave you more of a warning. But out here, they don't play. It's like if it blinks, it's over. Like, don't even try it.
Faster and faster as soon as you're finished crossing. They ditched the idea of having it flash faster and faster for the sake of simplicity. Then they also made it simpler for drivers too. Now the light sequence was solid amber when someone's about to cross, solid red as they start crossing, and then flashing amber to mean that it's safe to proceed if the crossing is clear.
Okay.
So they'd pretty much figured it out. But do you remember how the panda crossing didn't have a green light? Well, they did add a third light to the X-ways, but it wasn't green. Instead, it showed a white X.
Oh.
Now imagine you're driving and you see that. Does it mean stop? Because X would usually mean don't do something. And also, we're meant to pronounce X as cross. So does it mean someone's crossing and I have to stop and let them go? But no, the white X actually means you can proceed. They were very close with this design. And also around this time they realized that this crossing now operates similarly enough to a regular set of traffic lights that a green light is not going to confuse anyone. The only difference between the crossing and a regular set of traffic lights is that flashing amber, flashing green man phase. So in 1969, the decision was made to relaunch the X-Ways with a green light. And that meant it couldn't be called X-Way anymore. The Ministry of Transport considered a few names for the new design. Maybe just swap the X for green and call it Greenway. Or maybe a Lightway. Or maybe we could call them Cross Lights. It's hard to come up with catchy names for things like this, because it's not like they have a good name in the first place. It's just a pedestrian light controlled crossing.
Right.
Pedestrian light control.
What? Pelican. Oh.
It's just an X-Way with a green light added. But when these came out, the government knew they had a hit, so they went absolutely all out on the advertising this time. You had newspaper adverts, public information films.
Now, this is a pedestrian light-controlled crossing. The Pelican crossing.
Dad's Army, randomly.
Pelican crossing. The light's green. Carry on, Jones.
They
Carry
even
on.
had a theme tune.
When the red man's on, pedestrians wait, cause drivers may go, is what the green light states. Just press the button and you soon learn. The green man's on and it's your turn.
Oh, God.
We love to highlight forgotten 1970s theme tunes here on the channel. And that was it. The Pelican crossing became the standard controlled form of pedestrian crossing in the UK.
Oh.
But what happened to the flashing green man?
Yeah,
The
what
flashing
happened?
green man was intended to indicate that cars are now free to continue driving if there's no one on the crossing. Originally, they said you could cross with care on a flashing green man, but now the advice says do not start to cross if the green man is flashing.
Right.
I think the biggest problem, though, is that it simultaneously says to drivers, hey, if the crossing is clear, you can start driving. And to pedestrians, it can be taken to mean you could probably make it if you run.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do they see the? Do they both see the flashing green man? I don't think so. I don't think the cars would be able to see it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not understanding that.
Pedestrians, it can be taken to mean you could probably make it if you run. So a signal that tells drivers to start moving and simultaneously tells pedestrians to run out into the road
Oh, God.
is not ideal.
Not ideal.
So the Pelican crossing, even though everyone still uses the name, was actually discontinued in 2016. As they reach the end of their lives, they'll slowly be replaced by newer types of crossing. So how do those work then? Better go and check them out, haven't we?
Yeah, let's go. Oh, I thought I saw it said Puffin. Hold on. Right here. When Puffin crossings on number, looks like that's 16 or 7. I don't know. Or 17 or 7. When Puffin crossings were first developed in the 1990s, the department's position was that in time, they would come to be seen as a default signal controlled crossing type. Okay. So in the 90s, oh no, even up there, it says the traffic signals and road markings prescribed to indicate zebra, he says, and we call it zebra. So it doesn't matter. Puffin crossings. Oh, okay. In the zebra, Pelican, and Puffin pedestrian crossing regulations in general. Okay, all right.
It's a crossing.
Let's continue.
So how do those work then?
Let's go find out.
Better go and check them out, haven't we?
Yeah, let's go check it out. Let's go see.
This is a Puffin crossing. It's one of the 2 types of crossings you can install in Britain today, and it doesn't use a flashing green man. In fact, it doesn't have a flashing amber light either, which, if you remember, was the only reason for the flashing green man to exist.
What?
Instead of letting drivers decide for themselves when the crossing is clear and it's safe to keep driving, Puffin crossings have sensors called on-crossing detectors. This allows them to actually tell whether the crossing is clear or not. So if someone needs more time to cross, they can just hold red for a bit longer, and as soon as they're finished, they can turn green straight away. There's no place for the flashing green man in this model. And also, since the pedestrian signals have been moved to the near side of the road, they're now only visible to people who are waiting to cross. So as soon as it's not safe anymore to start crossing, you can just show them a red man. There are really only 2 major problems with the Puffin crossing. Some people don't like that once you start crossing, you can't see the pedestrian signals anymore. You have to just kind of trust that the system's working and it hasn't just turned the traffic lights green behind you. The other thing is that the near side signals are easier to see unless someone stands in front of them. Although these ones, they have installed a higher set of signals as well to try and mitigate that. But there is still one other type of crossing that still has the signals on the other side of the road. It's called a Pedex crossing. I guess they gave up on animal names.
Yeah.
These are Transport for London's preferred option when they're installing a new crossing. It's very similar to the old Pelican crossings. They can have countdown timers. They can have on-crossing detectors. You can't have both because the countdown timer would be counting down to an unknown time. But again, there's no flashing green man. Instead, the pedestrian signal just blacks out. Hopefully this strikes a balance between not encouraging people to run, but being clearer for people who are still crossing the road. And also, with the removal of the flashing green man, both the Puffin and the Pedex crossing now do operate identically to regular traffic lights. So there really is no problem with drivers being able to tell them apart anymore. This use of sensors starts to unlock some novel ideas. And there's one...
Just seemed like watching that last clip there. It's like, just go when there's no cars. That's what it seems like. Oh, that's interesting. I bet that's a thing out there. That they probably, like, you know, just go when it's safe, go. Don't get hit. I don't know.
To tell them apart anymore. This use of sensors starts to unlock some novel ideas. And there's one new type of crossing that started appearing in London recently, although most people probably wouldn't have noticed.
Green person authority crossings. Okay.
At first glance, this crossing behind me might just look like a regular everyday pedestrian crossing. And in fact, it might look that way at second and third glance as well. But this crossing employs a new technology called green person authority.
Okay.
I really think they should have stuck with those animal names. In fact, if we can come up with an animal name for this, like a pun or something, do let me know. This crossing extends the Puffin technology to vehicles as well. So now not only is the crossing aware of when people are starting and finishing crossing, it's also aware of whether any vehicles are actually waiting to go through. Using that technology, it can actually invert the way the pedestrian crossing works. So these crossings are green for pedestrians by default and red for traffic. Only when a car appears do they switch the other way around and stop pedestrians. This makes a lot of sense in areas where you get a lot of pedestrian traffic, but not much car traffic. Or think about like school pickup time or something like that. These crossings are currently pretty rare though. There's only about 20 of them and they're all in London. As far as I can tell, it's an initiative that's been taken up by the Greater London Authority. It's not been used anywhere else in the country, as far as I've seen just yet. But until something like this or some other new type of crossing takes off, that's pretty much it. There've been a few other recent small innovations, like these ones in Canary Wharf, which you can activate by just waving your hand in front of the sensor.
Oh, cool.
Kind of cool. I don't know if they'll keep them further than get from the pandemic, but it's cool. We should be grateful that we live in a country where a standardized pedestrian crossing design was figured out all the way back in the 60s, and it's just been mild tweaks since then. In the US, they're still trying to figure this out. They've recently started installing these things called hawk crossings, which are directly inspired by our Pelican crossings, even down to the animal name. But they've got...
Wait, what the hell? Hawk crossings? Hawk stands for high intensity activated crosswalk. It is intended to provide a signalized crossing for pedestrian while reducing delay to vehicular traffic. Okay.
Got a lot of the same issues as our early designs. Got these weird, unique flashing light sequences that you have to understand. Evan Edinger made a great video about them if you want to have a look at that. I'll link it in the description. But yeah, at least all we have to worry about is whether the green man should flash or not.
Yeah.
A good pedestrian crossing design is actually quite an achievement.
And drivers, just you listen here. Only go ahead when the crossing's clear. When you walk and when you drive, obey the Pelican and stay alive.
Oh man, that was a super interesting video. I love all these videos like that. But of course the US, they're late to the party because, and it won't work everywhere because you got some places like Texas, for example, would be like, we're not gonna let the government tell us what to do. So, you know, everything will work itself out. So cross the street at your own risk. That's how they are out there. But I thought that was a great video. Mr. Chris Spargo, thanks for sharing that with us. Hopefully you liked that video as well. If you did and you want to see more reactions just like it, then subscribe to the channel, man. It's easy and it's free. My name is Greg. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.